found me here. For once in a rare blue moon, I see everything clear. I'll be a beautiful letdown. That's what I'll forever be. I know it may cost my soul, but I'll sing for free. You guys may recognize these words from Switchfoot's 2003 album called A Beautiful Letdown. These words are written by Jon Foreman, who is one of my favorite artists, and he's one of the most well-known Christian musicians today. He's had great success as a writer, and he's collaborated with a lot of different people and musicians and just produced a lot of music. Today I want to tell you guys about Jon Foreman's life, his accomplishments as a musician, and his powerful methods behind his songwriting that makes him one of my favorite artists. First, I'll tell you just a little bit about his personal life outside of his music. He was born on October 22nd in 1976 in San Diego, California. He then moved with his family to Massachusetts and later to Virginia Beach, but then later moved back to San Diego when he was in middle school. After graduating high school, he briefly attended the University of California at San Diego before dropping out and pursuing his musical career. He now lives still in San Diego with his wife, Emily, who he's been married to since 2002. Next, I'll tell you about his success as a writer and as a musician. In 1996, he formed the band Chin Up with his brother Tim and his good friend Chad Butler, and then they later changed the name to Switchfoot. In 1997, they produced their first album called The Legend of Chin, and then later followed that up with A New Way to Be Human in 1999. The title track off this album won them a Dove Award in 1999 as well. Then in 2000, they came out with Learning to Breathe, and a lot of the music off this album was actually featured in A Walk to Remember, which I'm sure many of you have seen that movie. Then in 2003, they released A Beautiful Letdown, which went double platinum, and two of the most famous songs off this album that you guys probably know are Meant to Live and Dare You to Move. Then in 2005, they released Nothing Is Sound, and then followed up that with Oh Gravity in 2006. And their last album, Hello Hurricane, they came out with in 2010. So he's just made a lot of music and done a lot of writing. He's also had a lot of success with some independent work outside of Switchfoot, with some side projects. He had a solo project in 2007, and these are a set of 4 EPs called the Seasons EPs. He released the first 2 in the fall and winter of 2007, and then spring and summer in 2008. These are really different from his work with Switchfoot. They're really down to earth and kind of acoustic and restrained and really unrefined, and the melodies are sometimes even like crude, but it's just a really cool feeling and just very raw. Also in 2009, he produced some music with the former guitarist of Nickel Creek named Sean Watkins, and they made a project called Fiction Family, and they went on tour in 2009 as well, which is what kind of delayed the production of of Switchfoot's album in 2010. Finally, I want to tell you guys about Jon Foreman's writing style and why he's one of my favorite artists. He writes from a very personal level, and he writes about really sensitive topics, like things like the human condition and like personal identity and faith and spirituality and love in the world. In the foreword that he wrote in Charlie Peacock's book called New Way to Be Human, he says this: "You see, truth can come in many wrappings, maybe a sunset, maybe a song, but many times the written word is the most direct way for my soul to collide with the truth. Simple words can remind me of an inner thirst. Once again, I need these words like oxygen. I drink them in deeply, letting them fill all of me. New Way to Be Human offers such words. It's like an alarm clock for the soul, ringing loudly, welcoming the dawn of a new day. These are words that breathe, that make me long for a heart that beats in time with the kingdom of the heavens." Jon writes a lot about man's relationship with God and how we live in a broken world and how we try to fulfill ourselves and heal our wounds by filling our lives with things that are not from God. But then he writes about the redemption that comes when you surrender to God's purpose, and he writes a lot in first person about things that he's personally experienced, and that really appeals to me and makes his writing really real for me, and that's why I like him So, in conclusion, Jon Foreman is one of the most influential Christian rock artists today. And he inspires many, and he's inspired me with his life, his accomplishments and accolades as a musician, and his deep, thought-provoking, and personal songwriting style.